All right, everybody. Greg Pruitt here with Idaho Dispatch, and I am sitting here with Representative Heather Scott. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, no problem. So, before we get into kind of the bill that you introduced today, if you can let people know, which party you represent, which district you represent, and kind of what area of the state that is.
So, I represent District 1. It's up in North Idaho. It's the actual panhandle of Idaho, and it's most of Bonner County and all of Boundary County. So it's as far as north as you can go. It goes up to the Canadian border and from the Montana line to the Washington line. Everything north of Kootenai County.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk first about your bill and then kind of about the rest of the session and go from there. So
Sure.
You introduced an RS this morning, and can you kind of explain to people what you introduced and the process maybe from here for those that were watching and didn't quite realize what was going on?
Okay, so an RS is just kind of a draft that you introduce to see if you can get a bill number assigned to it. So if the committee likes it, then they assign a bill number. So my draft was a joint resolution to end the emergency. And so what we can do as a legislature is by joint resolution. We pass a resolution and we send it over to the Senate, and once they pass the resolution, then the emergency ends immediately. And this is what we tried to do in the special session that the Senate felt uncomfortable going through with, and so now's our next opportunity.
Okay, and you're talking about obviously Governor Little's state of emergency with the coronavirus and all that stuff.
That is going on over 300 days now. Yes.
Okay, and so I guess kind of leading into that, I know you were part of the Idaho conservative agenda for 2021 that was released yesterday, and so can you kind of let people know what you hope to see out of the legislature for 2021, and then what are you personally, obviously you're working on this resolution, but what else are you working on for your constituents and for Idahoans?
So my goals in this session, and there's a ton of great bills and great things that we want to do for the citizens. Unfortunately, our government's such a mess, and the powers, the law is written very vague, and you don't know that until something pops up like an emergency. So what I would like to see is more of a balance of these powers between the legislature, the executive branch, and we're not mentioning a lot the judicial branch. So we are the closest to the people. The legislative branch is the closest to the people, and we really need to be able to let ideas flow from the bottom up, from the citizens, and be able to present those ideas without restrictions from the executive branch or judicial branch that really do not have a role in lawmaking. Just for a little refresher, the executive branch enforces the law. They do not write the law. And so that's kind of what I think the session is going to be focused on. Are there a lot of other things that need fixed? Absolutely. But I don't know if we will have the time to address everything, and I know there's a lot of people that have specific fixes, but if your government system isn't functioning properly, it doesn't matter what bill you pass when your executive branch can just ignore all the bills. If you don't fix that first, it doesn't really matter what else you pass. So that's kind of where I am. It's been so much overreach of government into people's lives and daily activities, and I'd like to push back on that.
Okay, and so do you think, is this resolution, do you think that's your main focus? Do you have other bills that you're also working on, or?
Well, no, I have a lot of other bills. I have a lot of, I have a list too long to even go through, and you never know really what's going to get traction.
Yeah.
When ideas come up. I've got some specific bills, some problems with executive agencies and overreach. I have run child protective bills in the past, and our health and welfare department is out of control, as many people know, and I'm going to try to pursue some of those, and I usually run a bill to try to completely end abortion, not give exceptions, but completely end it and make it illegal in this state to perform an abortion. So that's been some of my goals, and I will probably continue to pursue those this year.
Okay. And there's been a lot of discussion about you're talking about the health department and the central district health boards, the health boards across the state. Do you believe there's a lot of legislators who feel that the power for them to implement a mask mandate and to put a misdemeanor penalty on it? Do you believe that the legislature wants to move away from allowing the health districts to do that, or?
Well, there's 5 pieces of legislation floating around right now, and they do not specifically, that I have found, they do not specifically address regional entities. And a lot of people do not understand regional entities or regional government, and that's exactly what our health districts are. Everybody can pass the buck when it comes to the health district. You can call your legislator and they say, I don't have any authority over the health district. And the executive branch will say, well, we don't have authority. They're a separate entity. Regional government, if you don't understand what that is, it's a great time to figure it out, because these regional health districts, they will pick an elected official from this jurisdiction and an elected official from here. And so they'll cobble these people together and say it's a regional board and they have authority over your jurisdiction. And so you have people that are, you cannot elect, or there's no recourse to getting rid of them. They might be bad people making decisions for you, and there's no recourse for the Idaho citizen. So we can argue over mask mandates. Who knows what they're going to do? If they're going to force vaccinations, mask mandates, force you to wear goggles, who knows? The core of that problem is regional entities and being able to have control over regional entities. Ultimately, I would like to see any decisions being made by your county elected officials. If we want to take the authority away from another authority, let's put it into an elected official that we have recourse. When they do not follow the will of the people, then the people can have recourse in an election. And that brings up another point. We will look at some of the election law this year. It has to be looked at in this state. And with all the fraud across the country, we really need to look at what we have here in Idaho and make sure that's firmed up. So.
Awesome. Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say to the citizens of Idaho or the people in your district?
It's been a weird year last year. It's a weird year here at the Capitol. Everyone around me is wearing a mask. We don't do that up north. It's awkward. There's police officers everywhere. They're setting the stage. And so I just say pray for this country, pray for our state, be engaged. Whatever that looks like, I would suggest building relationships with your elected officials, meeting them one-on-one, building that relationship, because I keep telling my district, and I'll tell whoever listens to this, I don't see it getting better. I don't see it getting better. It's basically it's like a snowball rolling downhill. And we can all, if we can get on the same page, we can stop that snowball, but it's coming, and it's coming hard. So I just encourage you to stay engaged and do what you can to make a difference locally, secure positions locally. They're coming in, I think it's March or May, there's going to be a ton of positions in your actual area that you can have authority over in your local jurisdictions. It's the time to fill all those positions with freedom-loving individuals that will work for the people instead of the system. Because I see this class system being set up of the lawmakers and then the peasants, and I don't like it. So do what you can to get involved, and don't get discouraged. We're in this together, and I hate to use that term because they're using it for all the other crap, but we are in this together to fight for liberty and freedom. So thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.